Would you like to just get away and camp out where you can have some quiet with your coffee? Maybe experience wild animals and plants in their natural habitats, or take the road less traveled to witness the grandeur of the American Southwest. Hi, this is Joe with Gen 5 Runner, inviting you to subscribe to our channel and join us as we explore Big Bend State Park and Guadalupe Mountains National Park. Let's go!
So here's our campsite tonight, Big Bend Ranch State Park. As you can see, not a lot of people out here. That's like a little lean-to with a fire pit and a picnic table. Here's our setup. And we have our awesome gazelle tent. Camp chairs, our awesome stove, and our awesome chef, and the Yodasaur. What's for dinner, honey?
Pork chops and grilled tomatoes.
Yum, yum! other side of nowhere.
The view from nowhere. Absolutely beautiful. As we skedaddle out of nowhere, these two deer cross the road. The first one, looking back over his shoulder from time to time, is headed up a very steep hill towards a ridge. The second, slightly larger buck stops right in front of our vehicle and is looking up the hill at the first one. The second buck to cross the road is a nice 4x3 with a big body. The first one has brow tines, which gives him 5x4, but he's a somewhat smaller deer. It's not hot out, but both of the deer are panting like crazy, giving us the idea that maybe they've been fighting. It looks like the larger deer is pushing the loser out of the territory. After completing the road to nowhere, we decide to head over to a road called Los Alamos, where things get, well, you'll see.
So here's a particularly nasty piece of Los Alamos.
Let me try to explain what happened here. There's a washout that runs across the road. Entry into the washout was no big deal, but there's about a 2-foot nearly vertical dirt wall, call it, at the other end. I'm adding contour lines to make it easier to explain the shape of this obstacle. Most importantly, you'll see the wall on the left-hand side, and you'll notice that the entire wash drains over into a waterfall that lands in a creek bed about 6 feet below the road. The purple arrows show the line that we chose entering the obstacle. Everything went great when the front wheels encountered the vertical wall. They climbed right over with no problem, and then the adventure began. Here is the position of our front wheels in orange and our rear wheels in purple. Notice that the rear wheels are off camber, which focuses the weight of the vehicle on the passenger side. Now let's see what happens when the rear wheels begin to slip in the dirt. That's right, boys and girls. The rear of the vehicle rotates away towards the waterfall and tries to go down into the creek bed. So the first thing I noticed as I hopped out of the Yodosaur to assess the situation is the severe shortage of trees here in the desert. I did notice that there were a lot of rocks around, so I tried piling them up to make a ramp to get that rear wheel back up onto the roadbed. It didn't work. The rounded rocks just merrily moved out of the way, and the wheel moved ever closer to disaster. Finally, I realized that if the wheel didn't slip or spin, then we wouldn't have all of this sideways motion. And I remembered we had crawl control. Got back in the car, put it in four-wheel drive and the lowest setting of crawl control, and the Yodosaur pulled right out of the situation as though it was nothing. So what can we learn from this experience? Well, be thoughtful when approaching an obstacle that's at an angle. Consider weight distribution and traction before you choose your final line. Then maybe you won't terrify yourself like we did.
The Yodosaur's crawl control. And Joe's muscle picking up those big boulders and stacking them there. You can see our tire marks.
The next morning, we decided to check out the road to Guadalupe Mesa before heading north to the Texas-New Mexico border.
we are. Guadalupe Mountains National Park. Williams Ranch Road.
Hey, thanks for joining us in our adventure, and we hope you're now inspired to go see these places for yourself. If you like the channel, please remember to subscribe. You'll also see a link here on the screen for our playlist so that you can access our other videos. If there's any place you'd like to see us go and explore, just let us know in the comments or just tell us what you think of what we're doing. And remember, always arrive safe and leave clean. Cheers!